The snow fell softly outside my office window, dusting the Chicago skyline in silver. I had just wrapped up a client call when my phone buzzed. "Rachel, sweetie. About Christmas this year. With Chloe bringing Ethan, and everything being so public, maybe it's best you sit this one out. Hope you understand. Love, Mom." I stared at the message, then locked the screen without replying. I'd seen this script before, different year, same subtle rejection wrapped in fake warmth. They never said I wasn't welcome. They just made it clear I didn't fit the image. I leaned back in my chair, letting the silence fill the space. Somewhere in the distance, someone was laughing in the hallway. I wasn't sad. Not anymore. This time, there would be no confrontation. No argument. Only silence. And consequences. I wasn't always the one left out. But I learned early that being quiet, ambitious, and a little too serious didn't fit the Dean family mold. Chloe, my older sister, had always been the shining one. Beautiful, bubbly, effortless in the way she moved through the world. She was the kind of daughter parents showed off at dinner parties, who always knew the right thing to say, who smiled in photos with her head tilted just so. And me? I was the girl who liked puzzles more than parties. Who got perfect grades but was told to lighten up. Who helped Dad fix the books when the family business almost folded, but was never thanked, only told not to bring it up. I remember one Christmas, I flew in from college during finals week. I'd just finished a grueling presentation on system algorithms. Mom met me at the door, gave me a polite hug, and said, "Maybe change out of the blazer? You look a bit intense for the photos." Chloe arrived 30 minutes later in a red velvet dress. The whole room lit up like she was the main event. She always was. It wasn't that they were cruel. Just selective with their affection. If you made them look good, they showered you in warmth. If not, well, you became invisible. So I stopped trying. After college, I turned down an offer to join the family business. I wanted to build something of my own. That decision branded me the difficult one. Dad said I was being ungrateful. Chloe told me I was going through a rebellious phase. I moved to Chicago with 2 suitcases and a second-hand laptop. I built from nothing. For years, I kept my distance. But I still sent birthday gifts, wired money when Mom hinted the roof needed repairs, and even helped Chloe's nonprofit with silent donations under a different name. They never asked about my job. Never once said, "We're proud of you." Instead, they just assumed I was getting by, probably struggling, probably regretting my choices. I let them think that. I never corrected them when they guessed wrong. I smiled politely when they spoke over me at family dinners. I wore neutral tones. I stayed quiet. Because part of me still wanted to be accepted. But reading that message, "Maybe it's best you sit this one out," something shifted. I wasn't hurt. I was done. 3 days after that text, Chloe posted a photo from the family's Christmas setup. Twinkling lights, a long polished table, champagne flutes. Her caption read, "Home for the holidays, so proud to introduce Ethan to the people who made me who I am." I stared at it longer than I'd like to admit. The comments poured in. "Beautiful couple. Such a perfect family. Chloe, you're glowing." I wasn't angry. But something inside me started to close. Quietly. Permanently. Later that night, I got another message, this time from Dad. "Hey Rachel. I know there's been a lot going on. But could you wire over the usual this week? The foundation's behind on heating bills again. Thanks." No mention of the invite. No apology. Just business, like always. He still thought I was struggling, living paycheck to paycheck in some basic office job. He didn't know that I'd quietly bought out the firm that managed his foundation's finances. He didn't know I was the reason it hadn't gone under, 3 times. I didn't reply. I logged into my private client portal, revoked the silent funding I'd been providing for 6 years, and flagged the account for review. The next morning, my company's CFO called me. "There's a candidate applying for the senior finance strategist role. Ethan Royce. Solid resume, good track record. He used to work at a hedge fund in Boston. Would you like to sit in on the final interview?" I froze. Ethan Royce. Chloe's Ethan. I clicked open his LinkedIn profile. It was him. Slick, clean cut. Harvard Business School. Polished smile. He'd even listed his experience leading Chloe's nonprofit's financial operations as a highlight. I hesitated for maybe half a second, then clicked approve interview. I didn't want revenge. I just wanted clarity. And, truthfully, I wanted to see if he even recognized me outside the frame of Chloe's curated life. The interview happened virtually. My camera stayed off. I asked him technical questions, financial hypotheticals. He answered well, charming, smooth, almost too smooth. At the end, I said just one thing. "Thank you, Mr. Royce. We'll be in touch." And then I turned my camera on. Just for a moment. His face drained of color. "Rachel?" he whispered. I gave a tight smile and clicked leave meeting. The next day, HR notified me he had accepted the job. Maybe he didn't tell Chloe. Maybe he thought I'd play along, keep it professional, pretend we didn't know each other from opposite sides of a family that never really included me. But I didn't need to say anything. Ethan was about to walk into a company where his girlfriend's weird little sister just happened to sign his checks. And no one at home had any idea. I didn't tell anyone in the company about Ethan and Chloe. It wasn't necessary. I didn't need to expose him or embarrass her. That's not what this was about. This wasn't revenge. It was release. The next morning, I opened the shared account I had quietly used to cover family expenses. I paused for a moment, then clicked close account. No warning, no message. I simply shut the door. Within 48 hours, I started receiving emails. From Mom. "Hey sweetheart, weird thing, our heating bill bounced. Did the bank mess something up?" From Dad. "Rachel, can you check if the transfer went through? We're getting late notices." From Chloe. "Hey. I know things are weird right now. But could you just help with Mom and Dad's insurance stuff? You're always better at that kind of thing." No one mentioned Christmas. No one asked how I was doing. Just requests. Quiet little ways of saying, "We still expect you to serve us, even from the sidelines." I didn't reply. A few days later, Chloe posted another picture. This time it was her and Ethan at a holiday gala. The caption read, "Proud to support families in need this season. Giving back is everything." The irony nearly made me laugh. The only reason her nonprofit stayed afloat was the anonymous donor behind it, me. Or, rather, the shell foundation I'd set up in my second year of business. The same one they never bothered to trace. I opened the foundation's dashboard. One click. Donation paused. Done. That night, I sat by the window with a glass of wine, the city glowing beneath me. I wasn't bitter. Just quiet. There's a certain peace in stopping the noise. The next day, I received an invitation from my board. Formal gala, December 24th. A partner organization was hosting an event for key investors and executives. I rarely attended those things. But something told me I should go this year. The guest list included several names I recognized, including the board members from Chloe's nonprofit. The same ones who'd been raving about her leadership. That evening, as I walked into the ballroom in a midnight blue dress and a simple diamond necklace, heads turned. People nodded. Smiled. Some whispered. Ethan was there too. He looked up and saw me. His expression didn't shift. But his posture did. He knew. We didn't speak. I didn't need to. That was the thing about power, it speaks loudest when you say nothing. The following morning, Christmas Eve, another message arrived. From Mom. "Rachel. I know you're hurt. But this silence, it's cruel. Can't we be a family again?" And right below it, from Dad. "Whatever this is, it's gone too far. You've made your point. Now come home." But I wasn't trying to make a point. I was just done playing a role I never agreed to. I didn't respond. I simply archived the messages, closed my laptop, and took another sip of wine. It was the day after Christmas when the real twist unfolded. I had just finished my morning coffee when my assistant, Elise, knocked gently on my office door. "You might want to see this," she said, sliding a printed invitation onto my desk. I looked down. January Strategy Summit, hosted by the Royce Group and Partners. My eyes paused on the line below. Keynote speaker, Chloe Dean, executive director, the Hartwell Foundation. I leaned back in my chair, fingers drumming softly on the armrest. So this was the angle. A rebranding. A show of power. Chloe's public debut as a rising thought leader in the nonprofit space, backed by none other than her boyfriend's firm, which, incidentally, had been recently acquired by a holding company under my portfolio. She didn't know that yet. Neither did Ethan. Elise, I said calmly, please prepare a media packet. Let's make sure Lindgren and Company's acquisition of the Royce Group is officially announced, this Friday. She blinked. You want it public before the summit? I nodded. Yes. Let them read it in print before they see it on stage. By Friday morning, the headline was everywhere. Lindgren and Company expands its reach, acquires majority stake in Royce Group. It made the business section of every major outlet. Nothing flashy. No photo of me. Just the firm name, the numbers, the strategic implications. It was enough. That evening, my phone buzzed with a new message, from Ethan. You knew. You knew the whole time. I didn't respond. Instead, I forwarded the article to Chloe's inbox, with no subject line and no message. Just the link. She saw it. I know she did. 2 hours later, a voicemail from my mother. Rachel. Chloe's in tears. She's humiliated. Ethan didn't tell her about the acquisition. The board is panicking. They think she was hiding it. Everything's unraveling. Please, just talk to her. I didn't. Because here's the truth no one ever wants to say out loud. They only respect power when it looks like something they can recognize. For years, I made their lives easier, quietly, without needing praise. They never looked twice. But now? One signature, one deal, one press release, suddenly I was visible. Not lovable. Not forgiven. Just seen. The summit went ahead as planned. Chloe took the stage in a cream blazer, her voice wavering just slightly as she spoke about empowerment and lifting each other up. I watched the livestream. She never mentioned me. But Ethan looked straight into the camera at one point, eyes sharp, jaw tight, like he knew exactly where I was. Good. Afterward, Elise came into my office again. Press wants a quote. Something to say about the acquisition and the future. I thought for a moment, then handed her a note I scribbled on a post-it. Some legacies are built in silence. Let's keep building. That was all. No interviews. No sound bites. No photo ops. The people who needed to know, knew. The rest didn't matter. I didn't need to stand on a stage or hold a grudge. I'd already made my move. And they'd already felt it. 2 days after the summit, they showed up at my office. No warning. No call. Just, there. Elise buzzed through the intercom. They're here, she said quietly. Your parents. And Chloe. I exhaled slowly. Send them in. The door opened and in they came, Mom in a wool coat with trembling hands, Dad trying to look composed but failing. Chloe stood slightly behind them, arms crossed, eyes glassy. Her usual confidence was gone. Rachel, Dad started, voice brittle, this has gone far enough. I didn't speak. Mom stepped forward. You've made your point, sweetheart. We see it now. What you've built, who you've become, it's impressive. But this cold silence? It's not like you. Chloe finally looked up. They're talking about removing me from the board. There it was. The fear. Not for me. Not about what they did. But about what they were losing. I'm not here to fix your consequences, I said, voice low. I'm not here to protect anyone's image. Dad frowned. You're our daughter. I gave a small nod. Yes. But only when it was convenient. A pause filled the room, heavy and final. Chloe's voice cracked. Do you hate me? I shook my head. No. I just finally stopped pretending we were sisters in more than name. Mom's face twisted. You were always so dramatic. And there it was again, the dismissal, the minimization, the refusal to accept that I had a right to feel anything at all. I stood up slowly, smoothing my blazer. I'm not angry. I'm not looking for revenge. I'm just done. You're throwing away your family, Dad said sharply. No, I said, walking to the door, opening it wide. You did that years ago. I'm just not carrying the weight of it anymore. They didn't move. I have a company to run, I said finally. And you all have appearances to maintain. Let's not waste each other's time. One by one, they walked out. Chloe turned at the last second, her voice barely above a whisper. I never meant to hurt you. I know, I replied. But you didn't try not to either. And then the door closed. For good. After they left, I stood by the window for a long time. The city moved beneath me, cars threading through snowy streets, people bundled in scarves, lights blinking from distant high-rises. All of it continued, indifferent, steady. And for the first time in years, I felt like I was finally moving with it instead of against it. There were no more texts. No more emails. No more requests disguised as affection. Just silence. And that silence felt like peace. For a long time I thought peace came from reconciliation. That maybe, if I just worked harder, gave more, stayed quiet long enough, they'd see me. Choose me. Invite me in. But that kind of peace was never real. It was performative. Temporary. Conditional. This quiet I had now, was mine. Earned. Built with boundaries instead of breadcrumbs. On New Year's Eve, I hosted a small gathering at my place. Nothing fancy. Just close friends, soft music, laughter that echoed through real conversations. No curated photos. No staged toasts. Just presence. Margaret, my mentor and oldest friend, handed me a small wrapped box. Inside was a silver pen engraved with my initials. She always believed in you, she said softly, referring to my late grandmother. And now, you do too. I held the pen for a moment, then placed it on my desk beside my nameplate. Not for show. Just for me. At midnight, as fireworks lit the sky, someone asked if I missed my family. I paused, then smiled gently. I miss the idea of them, I said. But not the reality. Because the truth is, I didn't leave them. They left me long ago, every time they chose comfort over connection, image over honesty. All I did was stop chasing the door they kept closing. And that, I've learned, is not cruelty. It's clarity. If you've ever been quietly erased by the people who should have stood beside you. If you've ever learned to let go, not out of anger, but out of clarity. Then you already know this story. Leave a comment. Tell me what you walked away from to find peace. Or just say, I see you. Because sometimes, that's all it takes. And if you're still waiting for the apology that may never come, know this. You don't need it to move on. You don't need it to be free. You already are.